So the RTB 2.6 protocol was developed with connected television and digital video in mind, both from an efficiency perspective as well as it has strong sustainability implications. Former versions of the RTB protocol were not efficient when it comes to what's called pod bidding. Pod bidding is the means by which you can more precisely bid on TV spots, whether it's CTV or addressable linear spots, than prior versions of the protocol. So in prior versions of the protocol, if you had a TV spot with a TV pod with three spots, you could spin up as many as 9 to 12 to 15 different RTB requests. And every time there's an RTB request, that requires a computer to process the request, which uses CPU, which uses power, which burns carbon. In the new version of the protocol, which is much more efficient, you can actually instantiate an RTB request per spot in the pod. So that 3-spot pod would now only instantiate 3 calls. So it's more, not only is it more efficient from a sustainability perspective, but it also gives advertisers and media companies greater optionality in terms of how media companies want to package up their television inventory through RTB. And it also gives advertisers a lot more flexibility in terms of cherry picking spots within a pod.
Does that also, I would imagine that might make it a little bit, some of the challenges around sort of frequency capping and some of the other challenges inherent in kind of fusing together programmatic and video, making some of those work better together as well?
It's much more finer grained, yeah, and it transcends, again, digital video and CTV. So advertisers that are looking to manage reach and frequency across digital video and CTV environments, it gives them more finer grained control.
You know, I think I said new protocol, but it's actually not new. It launched for public comment in the beginning of 2022, right?
RTB 2.6 launched for public comment in February of 2022. It was finalized in Q1, and it's taken about 12 to 18 months to adopt, which is somewhat commonplace, particularly for the RTB protocol, because it powers billions of dollars of transactions in display and digital video and CTV and mobile web impressions. So the RTB protocol often does take a while to adopt because it's like updating the software on your ATM.
I would imagine that our industry thinks that IAB Tech Lab can snap its fingers and everyone will adopt instantly, but that's not how it works. Can you talk a little bit about maybe what might prevent some companies from adopting this sort of sooner rather than later?
I think it's our standards are adopted based on their merit. We're not the internet police. We can't snap our fingers and force the industry to adopt our standards. And we have had failed standard initiatives where they're just not broadly adopted by the ecosystem because they either don't drive growth, they don't deliver efficiencies to the ecosystem, or they don't mitigate risk. And those are really, I think, the 3 tenets by which our standards are evaluated and adopted. In other cases, I think the tech lab is kind of like the cobbler's son that has no shoes. We work in the marketing and advertising ecosystem, but I think we've done a better job in the past couple years of driving awareness of new technical standards, evangelizing those, really edifying standards throughout the industry, but there's more work we need to do. I mean, there's several other offerings Tech Lab has that I think the industry is not aware of as they should be, like our tools portal, which holds a ton of metadata around different standards and how different, what different technical standards people use. What does their supply chain look like from a partner perspective? Like, there's a lot of great data that we host for the ecosystem that I would say half the industry doesn't even know we host it. So part of it is merit of standards. And the efficiencies, the growth, and the risk mitigation it delivers to a particular constituent. I think part of it is also, again, product marketing and driving awareness of standards and our offerings. And I think third is just the relevancy of certain standards that we do deliver. There are ad tech infrastructure companies that maybe CTV isn't a significant part of their offering. So RTB 2.6 may not be as important to them as someone who is a CTV SSP or a DSP that is hyper-focused on CTV and digital video. So there is a relevance component to it as well.
Speaking of relevance, which I think is a great segue, you also mentioned kind of there's the elements of RTB 2.6 that support sort of the advertisers, the publishers, sort of the efficiency from an operational standpoint. But then there's also elements that support efficiency from sort of a greener standpoint, if you will. Can you talk a little bit about the connection between that?
Sure. So again, every time an impression opportunity, again, whether that is a digital video, CTV, or display impression is processed, that uses, a computer has to process that, and every time that computer touches it, that uses energy and that burns carbon. So within the new version of the protocol, being it is much more efficient in CTV, it will ostensibly use less carbon in the CTV and digital video ecosystem.